vegetables and I like fruit.
Next speaker is the lovely Edita Birnkrant, and she's with Friends of Animals, New York director of Friends of Animals. That's quite a job here. Thank you, Edita.
Thank you, Pamela, and it's a very hard act to follow that awesome costume contest, but I will try. So thanks all of you for coming out and withstanding the not so perfect weather, but it's still a nice day. So I just want to let everyone know that hopefully all of you here are interested in vegetarianism or already are vegetarian or vegan, and part of what's very important in helping the world, you know, become more vegan friendly is not just the why, for why you want to become a vegan and change your diet and your lifestyle, but also the how. The how is very important, and that can be kind of what holds people back. So Friends of Animals produces these really helpful vegan restaurant guides for New York City. They list all of the vegetarian and vegan restaurants in all of the 5 boroughs, including some in Nassau County, and they're a really great resource to give to people who say, well, where do I eat? Or what do I eat? Where do I go? So you can just hand them this guide, and it opens up a whole world of new places to eat. So it's very, Mickey agrees. And we also make these really wonderful vegan starter guides, and these kind of explain all the whys and hows, and we have some great vegan recipes in the back, and we're giving these away for free at our table. So please feel free to take some. And I also just want to bring up some other issues that are connected to veganism, but it's sort of, you know, like beyond just eating vegan. What can you do to help animals here in New York, because we're in New York City, and I do work on a lot of New York issues for animals through Friends of Animals, and there's some really important issues affecting wildlife happening in New York. By a show of hands here in the crowd, who appreciates seeing swans in parks? Okay, great. So how many of you are aware that there's actually a plan pending to wipe out completely the species of mute swans in New York? Okay, only one person, 2 people are aware of that? Yeah. So this is something that we've really been working on trying to fight and reverse. And so far we're about halfway there, because New York Senator Vella introduced a bill that will prohibit the New York Department of Environmental Conservation from wiping out the swans. So unfortunately, our state wildlife agencies kind of don't act in the best interests of the animals or the public, so it's up to us as New Yorkers, as voters, to kind of make our voices heard. So I really will encourage everyone here, because we really want to pass this bill, because the DEC got a huge amount of negative feedback. People were outraged that they actually are intending to just wipe out swans from New York for no good reason. It was a very unscientific plan, just based on nothing. And we really are working to make sure that this generation, future generations can appreciate the species of swans. You know, there's absolutely no reason for our own government to go on the attack after swans. So there is a bill pending that we are hoping to pass, because this would prevent the DEC from going ahead with their awful plan. And all of you here, as long as you're New York residents, it doesn't even matter if you're New York City residents, as long as you live in New York State, you all have a state senator and assembly member. So if you can just sometime this week find some time to make a phone call, if you find out who your assembly member and senator is, and just tell them that you are in support of the Senate bill is number 6589, and the Assembly bill is number 8790. And this is the bill that would save our swans, basically. And just, you know, call up, say, I'm a New Yorker, I care about this issue, I care about animals, and I do not want to see our swans made extinct in New York. So this kind of can tie in with a lot of other wildlife issues that are happening, and it's really, there really is kind of a war on wildlife happening, and it's really very unfortunate. And I think all of us as people that care, that we're here because we care about animal issues, it's up to us to use our voice make an effort to kind of be known to your politicians, because you're a constituent, so your voice matters, and just get involved with what's going on in your own backyard with these wildlife issues, because we really can turn this around, because there's so little wildlife left on the planet, and a lot of that actually is connected to animal farming issues, because so much of the habitat is being destroyed in order to farm animals that are raised and slaughtered for food, and that's using so many resources. It's creating so much environmental destruction. So all of these issues, beyond even just what we're eating, in terms of wildlife, they are really all connected. So for all of you here, I do urge you to do that, and there are a couple of other really important bills that we're hoping to pass to help make New York a more humane state, and one of them is a bill that would ban wildlife killing contests. Now, a lot of people don't even realize that these killing contests happen. So they're hunting killing contests, and a lot of times children are involved as young as 12, and like right now, this weekend in Palinville, New York, which isn't that far away, it's about 2 hours away, there's a crow killing contest. So the contest is just you kill as many crows as you can and you win prizes. There's squirrel killing contests, there's coyote killing contests in New York. So even among the hunting community, these are often looked down upon as unethical and unsporting. I mean, Friends of Animals is totally against all hunting, but these killing contests in particular, we have a very good chance of banning them and making them illegal, because what this does to children and adults, rewarding them for killing mass amounts of animals with cash prizes and other prizes, this is something that as New Yorkers we have to speak out and say that we are better than this. We are not going to allow this to occur all over New York. So that bill, again, call up your New York senator, your assembly member, write a letter, say that you really, really care about this issue, you really want them to support the bill to ban wildlife killing contests. So that bill number is, the Assembly bill is 3661 and the Senate bill is 4074. But even if you don't know the bill numbers, you can just call up and say it's the bill to ban wildlife killing contests. They will figure it out. But I can't stress enough how important this is, because it is controversial, because in some of the upstate districts where, the elected officials, they have a lot of hunters in their community, so they are hesitant to sign on to this. So they need to hear from people all over New York in order for us to get this to happen. And of course, we already heard about the carriage horse issue, but that's another issue I've been working on for a long time. And even though we do have a mayor that has said he supports a ban, we still need to pass a bill in the city council, because the mayor just can't snap his fingers and make it happen, although I certainly wish he could. So for all of you here, if you're New York City residents, you all have a city council member, and I really urge you to call up your city council member, write a letter, and tell them that you really support the ban on carriage horses. I mean, I could stand here all day talking about the reasons why we need to ban them. Most of you probably are aware of the issue, but really New York City is no place for carriage horses. Midtown Manhattan, my office is right at Columbus Circle every day. I see these carriage horses trapped in their miserable lives, and I've seen the stables where they live. They are horrendous, but the issue isn't even about the stables. The issue is about forcing these horses to pull carriages in Midtown Manhattan and to live lives of confinement and deprivation. They have no pasture to run. They literally are just treated as horse slaves, and that shouldn't be happening on the streets of New York City. And we have a mayor who has said he cares about these humane issues, but we still can't just rest on that and think these issues are going to happen without us using our voice as, New Yorkers who care about these animals and vote. So I really encourage all of you to get in touch with your council member and let them know that it's a very important issue for you. And in fact, the carriage horse issue kind of became a bigger issue than it ever had in the mayoral campaign. And I think that's very indicative of how far animal issues have come in being more mainstream and more legitimate. So we can take that as a very good sign that these issues are being taken much more seriously than they used to. But we still need to use our power as individuals and as a community to speak out on these other issues and wildlife issues, because especially in New York, parks are very important places for people to go that can't afford to always just go out into other areas of nature. So we need to keep our parks areas where they are sanctuaries for wildlife, and there are so few species of wildlife left. So urban wildlife is very important, and that is an issue that we work on very hard at Friends of Animals. You know, a lot of other issues that I don't have time to mention here, but if you want to stop by our table, I'd be happy to give you more info. But please do, all of you listening, if you can, take a few minutes this week and make a few calls on those issues. It makes a big difference. Thank you. I'm not sure who's up next. Is someone introducing?